Hello everyone, welcome to PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski and we are around Palos. Today we will be talking about the Palos Heights Women's Club. I know you've heard that before and you've seen some great things in the city that have come via the Palos Heights Women's Club, but we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And so we have a guest today, Mary Lee Lockwood. Mary Lee, thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you, Sue, for having me.
It's great to have you. Mary Lee is the president of the Palos Heights Women's Club, and it is a role she took on just a few months ago, and it's a big job to be the president of the club because the club does so many things, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But first, Mary Lee is going to give us just a little bit of history about the Palos Heights Club.
And the reason I wanted to bring up the history is this December is our 80th anniversary in the community. And it started with a group of 35 women who, first thing they did was sell war bonds. And then they started working with the regional about advocating for the library in Palos Heights. And it's grown through the years. We've done a number of major projects around town, like the gazebo, the statue outside the library. What else do we have?
The anniversary garden.
The anniversary garden at Lake Catherine. And the most recent one was the big sign. But I also wanted to talk a bit about our yearly giving, because every year we're up to where we give $4,000 in high school scholarships, 2 to Stagg students who reside in Palos Heights and 2 to Shepherd students. And then a few years ago, we started with the Moraine Valley. We called it a Returning Woman Scholarship, and it's for women returning to school. And we actually do 2 scholarships there also. So that's a big part of our fundraising every year. But then in addition, last year I added up, we had 36 different groups that we gave money to. Local charities, service groups. We also do some statewide, and then we have a department in the club called International, and so we do some projects for International. This year we did one for school supplies for a school in Costa Rica. So
there's a lot of outreach there.
There's a lot of outreach, and one thing, the community has been so supportive of the Women's Club. Sue as a member and also as a Channel 4 contact. But we really try to focus. Club members can nominate different charities, so we can add charities based on needs. You know, what we do ongoing giving to the library, and try to be very involved and help out and volunteer for other organizations also.
Well, let's go back to the scholarships for a minute. You know, I'm glad you are talking about all this because, you know, a lot of times we talk about the Women's Club and we look at the gazebo and go, well, that's amazing and great, and it's you know, something that everyone notices in town. But you're not going to notice the fact that we did give scholarships to people, kids and adults who are needing that scholarship, and that's an important part of our fundraising as well.
And both the high schools have commented that as organizations become smaller, keeping the scholarships from the local group really does help families. And when you meet the recipients and their parents, and you know it makes a difference in their beginning of college life. And for like the Moraine Valley ones, these are people who, you know, for whatever reasons, they want to change careers. They want to, the recipient this year was a woman who had put off her own college to get her kids through school and then is going back to be a social worker. So again, giving back to the community. So I think it's an important part of our club.
It is, and giving an opportunity, or at least giving them a little bit of a leg up with some extra finances to help them. And I mean, that's a great thing too for the Returning Women scholarships, because there are a lot of people who do that, put aside what their needs are, take care of the kids first, and then they kind of run out of you know, some funding for themselves. So that gives them a little opportunity to do that too. I also want to mention that you talked about the library. Well, the library is also celebrating, you know, a big anniversary.
Their 75th anniversary this year.
Right. So actually, if you think about it, they're celebrating their 75th anniversary, but the Women's Club has been in existence for 80 years. And the city of Palos Heights has only been incorporated into a city for 60 years. So, I mean, the Women's Club came long before the city was a city. I mean, it was here, of course, but the women of the almost city, then to become city, decided, hey, let's form a group, and at the time, war bonds were important.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what they have done through the years has tried to work with the city about what's needed at a given time. Like when the library was remodeled, I know that was a big fundraiser for raising money for the circulation desks there. So again, you know, as needs come up, we are more than willing to try to help with other projects going on in the city.
And we're going to find out a little bit more about that when we do the anniversary with the library, because the Women's Club has been so integral to the library, having helped them start it right to begin with. So education is really important to the Women's Club. And right then, at the very beginning of the club, they helped the library begin and are still supporting the library. So that is a great thing, too. Now, the Women's Club does then take on other groups. Like if you nominate something, say, I have an organization that I really think is important, and I would like to have the Women's Club donate some money to them. How do people go about doing that in the club?
In the club in February, members are able to submit a nomination form. And the reason why, say someone in your family maybe needed a specific medical condition and an organization helped them, they may nominate that organization. Or, you know, so our list of, we call them supplemental charitable giving, changes slightly from year to year. We do local things like the Bridge Center, the library, but we also have done like different autism programs. I mean, there's a wide variety. They've given some money to the schools, DARE, and snowball programs through the years too.
And that might change, and some of them I imagine have gone on for quite a while. I'm just thinking, you know, I'm reading this list of these supplemental charity disbursements, and you know, the Women's Club is accounting for all of the fundraising they do, and it's all going back out the door again. So I mean, and it's widespread. It can be medical. It's the Crisis Center of South Suburbia.
Palos, they donate to Palos every year.
Which is great. Counseling services, Metropolitan Family Counseling. The Ronald McDonald's House, the Salvation Army, Sertoma, Southwest Recreation, the Symphony. I mean, it's just so widespread, the various areas.
Yes, and we usually also every year do things for veterans, for Veterans Day, and there's a group within the club that has made blankets for veterans who are at Mantino Home. And so there's different fundraisers within the club going on in addition to our major fundraisers. You know, last night we had Crisis Center for South Suburbia out, so we had publicized the wish list of things they needed, and many members donated. So I think the biggest characteristic of a member is a willingness to give their time, and many give much more than that in terms of donations to various projects like the school supplies, the Crisis Center, the library.
Right, collecting shoes, and I mean, at the meetings, there's the women are so generous with what they bring in. If there's a need for something, they bring it in. That's outside of the fundraising.
Yes.
So that's something that they just continue to do too.
And we have several members who have reached the 40 to 50 year mark as members in the club. And some are able to be more active than others, but people still support the club, even maybe they've been in the club 50 years, but they're still supporting it in some way.
Mm-hmm. I just want to mention too that, and I'm not sure what's going to happen to the mayor for a day, but that's been a baby of the Palos Heights Women's Club for a long time. And so actually that has to have financial support too. And of course that's been part of this. So it's very local to our city.
Yes, and that's the person who actually started that. I don't think she would mind. Marianne Orr is a past president who started Mayor for a Day and has continued, and I think they have done that for
like 40
years.
Yes,
I wanted
really
to say
long.
40 years. And you know, they ask the schools to have students submit letters why they would like to be the mayor. And I think it's a fun activity for students and also for us as members of the community to see what our young people are thinking of about our city.
Exactly. And so sometimes I think, well, you've seen Mayor for a Day, and your student may be involved in Mayor for the Day, but maybe the public didn't know that that is the brainchild of the Palos Heights Women's Club and is supported by the Palos Heights Women's Club as well as just other little things around town. I mean, the Adopt a Pot, the Women's Club always has, a pot for that. And then the 4th of July parade, too. Right. And that's kind of just a little bit of, hey, we're here in the community, and we're really always part of what is going on. And that's kind of a fun thing, too. At this time of year, too, I think some of the food pantries, we collect items for food pantries.
And this year, one of our members was talking with Franklin's House, and they had shared that November was their Thanksgiving giving month, and so we're kind of partnering with them on Thursday, November 29th, that if members and guests bring in a bag of groceries, they are also going to donate groceries to the local food pantry.
Right.
And so that's kind of an event from 4 to 7 that we're going to promote and encourage people to come in, bring at least $10 worth of groceries or make a $10 donation, and then Franklin's House is going to offer a beverage to the person who donates.
Right. So that's a great time to come in and be part of a fun group of people. And this time of year, we think about the people who really don't have as many things, and this gives you a chance to bring it to a specific location. So that's coming up.
Yes, and then also Saturday, December 8th is our major fundraiser, and I know you've talked about this before on Channel 4, but it's the Christmas House Walk, which has been a tradition in Palos Heights. And we ask local residents to be willing to open their house and decorate them for Christmas. We have a breakfast brunch at Palos Country Club, and kind of there will be vendors there selling things for gifts, but tickets are available at Dough Guy's Bakery, Lush Hair Salon, and then the Mona Lisa, which has moved to Orland Park.
And it is in the Orland Crossing, so it's not far away. If you're shopping over that way, you can stop in Mona Lisa and buy your ticket for $40. And remember that this is the biggest fundraiser, and it's really kind of, not kind of fun, it is fun.
A fun day.
You get a really nice breakfast, and there's all kinds of vendors, and everybody's got, that happy outing kind of a day, and you kind of walk from house to house and see, you have to drive, I guess, from house to house. So you drive to a house, you go in and look at their Christmas decorations and just their house. And really every year I think it's just amazing that people will volunteer their home for a lot of people to walk through.
And club members serve as guides so that there are people supervising and making sure everything is okay in the house. But I also think it's fun for the homeowner. Last year I put my own house on, and I was a little nervous because I have an older home and narrow stairs, and I thought, all I need is someone falling. But it was very nice to get your house decorated, but then also share that with the community.
It is, and so it is a great time. So you might want to think about supporting that. Come on out with a friend, or your son or daughter, or your husband can walk through. It's not strictly women; it can be men too coming through. And then are you asked to come at a certain time for breakfast? Are you
No,
given a time?
not anymore. There's breakfast from 8 to 11, and we do have gift baskets that we raffle off, which is part of the fundraising. We sell cookies that members have donated, and they're packaged.
And they're delicious.
And they are good
and
because they're homemade.
There's a variety in every package that you buy, and there's all kinds of different prices. So you can buy one that
you can
want.
buy a half pound or a pound.
Yeah, that's really great. And so now you just come in. What time do the houses actually open? Not till about 10?
They open at noon, just so that we
noon.
have time for everyone to get through breakfast, shopping, cookie sale, and then we start the tours around town, 12 to 3. So it does turn out to be a day, but it's a fun day, and
it is a fun day. So think about getting your ticket for that too. And it is the biggest fundraiser. And again, I can't tell you, I mean, I'm looking at this list, and I won't read them all. I read several. But I mean, this page is full of, in tiny little font, all the giving that the club does. And I'm just always so amazed by that. Yeah, it's a great thing. And then there's other things that come up, the flower sale, which has been had over the years. But this year, we're thinking about doing the garden walk.
Yeah, this year we're going to do a garden walk in June, and so we'll be recruiting gardens throughout Palos. I know we've put out a few feelers from people walking around last summer and enjoying some of the gardens. But it will be, again, a morning in June. We've tentatively scheduled June 29th of 2019. And you would buy a ticket, you would get a list of the homes that have their gardens on, and be able to walk. And so we're kind of doing that in lieu of the flower sale this year, but we are selling gift cards for flowers from Busy Bee Nursery. They've graciously offered to, for every $50, you would get $10.
Back, the club would get.
The club would get $10. So just kind of a smaller fundraiser, and we thought we'd try something different this year.
And actually, you know, you're going to buy things for your yard anyway. So it's nice that knowing if you just buy a gift card, then use the gift card, you're helping with some fundraising, and then that money goes to people who could use a little bit of it.
Yeah, and our feedback was people kind of wanted to pick their own flowers, and that gives people the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Mary Lee, is there anything else we want to mention about all of the great charitable work that the club does?
No, I think thanking the community for all of the community groups that support us, thanking our members, because this year we have 128 members, and everybody helps in some way. And I think that's what the characteristic of the club is, people gathering together to work together. Also have fun. We do have a good time on our the house walk and garden walks and our fundraisers and
exactly, right. I just think we're so lucky to live in a city like Palos Heights, because we do have people who are willing to give and volunteer, make our city look nice, and make the organizations grow. Look how long this organization has been in existence, and if we didn't have people who are willing to put forth the effort, it would just kind of fall short and flat after all these years. So we're very blessed to be here. Yeah.
And all the other community organization groups. I think as a community we've been able to maintain a giving spirit within the community.
We have. So on that, we're going to remind you that some of the things are coming up, like the Thanksgiving. What are we calling that event?
We're calling it Thankful Thursday, at Franklin's Public House from 4 to 7. And anyone can come out to that, but you will need to bring $10 in groceries or a $10 bill.
One or the other, but it'd be worth it. You get a little beverage coupon, and you can have something to eat there and just have a good time. And then, of course, the house walk that's coming up in December 8th, and you can get their tickets for that. And you want to get those tickets ahead of time, actually, because you may not be able to get breakfast otherwise. They only sell so many
breakfast tickets. So get out and get your tickets when you're starting your Thanksgiving shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for watching us, Mary Lee.
Thank you, Sue, for having me on.
It's my pleasure. And it's nice to find out more about the club. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.